Hey, this is Runabout saying the following video is not for 13 or under. Remember, you gotta be 13 or older to watch some of this stuff. Anyway, on with the review. Hey guys, Master Farr here, and I'm back with another review. And today, thanks to all of you out there subscribing, I finally reached 100 subs. And today, to show how much I love you guys, we got something special. It may not be a Titan, but it's a Titan that I love. It's Star Saber. Now, if you're wondering who exactly Star Saber is, he's not a sword as some of us think. He's actually the character from Transformers Victory. He was specifically the commander, and I really loved the guy in his show. He was really entertaining to watch, he was badass, and he had a really sweet connection to his son Jan. But that's not why we're here today. Today, we're looking at a specific figure that I want to talk to just for this occasion. Iron Trans Starblade. Specifically today, we're going to be taking a look at the robot mode, the vehicle mode, and all that other good stuff in between. So let's get on to the old gym mat and see how cool he actually is. In vehicle mode, Starblade easily gets this guy done right in terms of looks. Suffice to say, the Jet and V-Star combination is really well done and flows really nicely. I will admit, some of the panels don't really like to stick in, and the Jet we'll get to later on. But all things considered, from a 360 view, yes, it is a little hollow in the back, but hey, that might give us the chance of Victory Leo? That would be cool. Anyway, just flipping this guy around, it really takes the G1 anime Gundam feel of it and amps it up by 11. There's a lot of parts in here and it just looks really nice. However, there are some issues. For example, bring his accessories he comes with: his robot mode head, a gun, a smaller saber blade for his jet robot, 2 interchangeable hands, some landing gear, a longer hilt for the saber blade in his big robot mode, and the sword itself for said saber blade, as well as a Brainmaster. Taking a look at the Brainmaster itself, however, I gotta say this is definitely the weakest part of the figure. I mean, not because it's tiny, no, just how it works with the rest of the figure overall. Also, how sloppy it feels. I mean, just look at this paint smear right here. I mean, yes, it's a small figure, you gotta be really precise, but still, look at it. It overall just looks kind of drab and kind of feels like it needs lighter colors like the MP one. I mean, just it's night and day in terms of comparison right here. I feel like this one's a lot more well done and it's even way bigger. I mean, this one has pins, this one has, you know, just like those little pegs. And overall, it just feels kind of flimsy. I don't know if you can see it, but look at that. This is the tiny guy, and he feels like an afterthought. And he's one of the key things that people know about Star Saber. As for articulation, no head, because it is so tiny that would be impossible. 360 shoulders. Feet can go in this much, and go back this far, and same on this side. But yeah, the main thing you're supposed to do is have him pilot the spaceship mode. So bring him in right here. We're just gonna open up the cockpit right here and just throw him in. There's no pegs or anything holding him in place. It's just, he's sitting there. So yeah, kind of an afterthought. But we'll get into more of him later on. As for other things in this mode you can do, you can of course flip down the landing gear as well as place the head and gun on the middle part of the V-Star. Now this will help make it look more G1 accurate, but be warned, this head does not like to stay in. And it is kept on this very flimsy blue tab right here that isn't even pinned, just on these little clips that I feel like are going to break over time, so be wary of that. Anyway, getting that back on, overall, I really like this mode. Granted, it does have its flaws with the Brainmaster and another part we will be getting to, but overall, this combined Jet is really good, and I'm really happy I bought it. Now, for the sake of comparison, here he is with my last review, Cybertron Runabout, my next custom, Earthrise Hound, and of course the MP figure, which you can see the differences are night and day. Now it's time to move on to the jet mode, and to do that we have to take it out of the V-Star. And here comes the part I was dreading, having to get it out of the V-Star, as well as having to get it. You see, there are these two little pegs back here that the back of the fuselage is pegged into, as well as these two clips that like hold it in. The problem is they kind of clash with each other, and you'll either get going up this far, not too down, or it'll be lopsided. I actually had to mod mine away so that those clips are gone, but I'm gonna have to dock points for that, unfortunately. So basically it's as simple as pulling out like this, and that's only because I had to mod it. But yeah, taking a look at the jet mode itself, I can easily say that this is the weakest mode, mainly because of how disproportionate it looks. Taking a look at the nose cone, it just feels like it doesn't connect, and it's really wibbly. The wings right here feel too lanky, and they barely clip in on these little clips right there. The back part right here, it just sticks up instead of like accordion. But yeah, it kind of feels disjointed, honestly. Luckily there is an accessory, the landing gear. And with it, I feel like we get a slightly better alt mode, as you can see right here. It actually can stand up, but it really still doesn't hide the fact that this feels messy. If these little joints right here could accordion into the legs like the MP, I feel like it would be a lot better, and hell, maybe even help the transformation into the V-Star part. But yeah, overall, again, this is the weakest mode for me, and I really don't see myself displaying it like this. As for comparisons, here it is once again with Runabout, Hound, and the Masterpiece figure. Overall, I gotta say, out of all of Starblade's modes, this is definitely the most disappointing. It just doesn't look right. It kind of looks like someone put wings on a boat. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this guy in this mode. So, on to the transformation. Overall, the transformation is nothing we really haven't seen before, with stretching arms and accordioning out the legs. But there is one thing that makes him stand out, that being the Brain Master. By placing it in the chest, unfortunately there's nowhere it can plug in, so it just flips around. You really just gotta pray and be lucky and close it up, and bam, here we have Starsaber in his complete robot mode. And I gotta say, this is really nice looking. Even with the Masterpiece in mind, the sculpting here is really nice and really stands out as something new to the character. With the darker reds, the darker blues, the pearlish looking white, it's a very nice looking sculpt, and I think it even beats the Masterpiece in this regard. Head sculpt is also really quite nice, and if you look closely you can see there's even some translucent blue for the visor. And taking a look at the back, there is no back. It's literally really nice. However, it is not perfect, again, because we got to talk about one thing that really holds this whole thing back. Part leprosy. Now, for those of you wondering what exactly part leprosy is, it's when a part of a figure just comes off when it's not supposed to. For example, taking a look at my Siege Hound right here, it's probably just on my copy, but rotating the wrist, it just pops off. Fortunately, however, that's fixable. However, this should not be a problem on a third-party fig, especially with an emotional video I had to do. But taking a look at the waist right here, very nicely sculpted. This little gold part right here, watch. Just pops off, and now he's naked. But yeah, it just pops in, but this should not be a problem. It really should not be a problem. Why not just mold it in there and paint it gold? Oh well, though, it's a minor thing at best. However, getting back to the figure itself, he of course comes with a few accessories for himself, which include, but are not limited to, a gun, a mini saber blade, and 2 interchangeable hands for each arm. To change out the hands, all you gotta do is take off the hand right here, it's on a little peg, and just place it in like so, and it couldn't have been simpler. Hell, if your mind is that twisted, you can even place a toothpick in there, as well as Kingdom Core class guns if you're that twisted in the head. Articulation-wise, the head can look up this much, down this much, and has a 360-degree swivel. Arms can move out this far, and because they're third party, go out this far. Elbows can bend this far and swivel this much. Hands are on a rotation, and because of transformation, the elbows can bend in for some sideways elbow action. Legs can move out this far and has a knee bend that goes well over 90 degrees, and foot articulation right here, as well as because of transformation, the ability to break his leg. My leg! He also has a swivel right here that's also 360, and miraculously somehow, it manages to have a waist swivel. How cool is that? Articulation wise, this figure has a lot in it for just such a small thing. And it really does impress me how much you can do, especially with the accessories. For the sake of comparison, here he is with Runabout, Hound, and of course, the Masterpiece figure. And I just gotta say, overall, I think Starblade is better. Granted, it doesn't have the same shield thing. I mean, this doesn't go on, but that's just nitpicking. And I don't want to nitpick, I want to just say my opinion. But yeah, overall, this guy blows that guy out of the water. Not saying this one's bad or anything, but this one. Ooh, mama, this is nice. Overall, based on this guy alone, I would give this set a 10 out of 10. But because we're reviewing everything else, I can't really give it a score yet. But I can say this is amazing. I mean, yes, the alt mode has some issues and there's a little bit of parts leprosy, but overall, my god, it just captures the essence of the character so perfectly. It really feels like a treat to handle. And with the accessories, it really is something you gotta handle. Especially with all those joints. But yeah, that's pretty much it for part 1. Tune in next week for part 2 where we'll check out the V-Star and the combined robot mode. And I will see you next time with another review.